More crazy updates to Kris Tyson. We have leaked DMs from Mutahar that Kris Tyson sent him, where Kris is upset at Mutahar for daring to use Kiwi Farms as a source in any way, shape, or form when Mutahar covered the disgusting individual known as Keffals. We have Jake the Viking alleging that because of Kris Tyson's divorce, that meant that Kris was going to get a bigger share in MrBeast's company. We also have disgusting Reddit messages that I'm going to be reading later in this video from Kris Tyson, where Kris talks about teen love and lolly gang R stuff. I mean, it's just abhorrent. We have the alleged grooming victim, LavaGS, bending the knee finally and apologizing to people like Sensitive Society and Cheeto for slandering them to millions of people, calling to brigade their videos falsely when they didn't even talk about him. There's a bunch of new stuff going on. We're just going to go over all of it. And let's start with this. So LavaGS made a follow-up to their original tweet. If you don't know the context, I recommend watching my previous video. It's up on screen right now. But LavaGS is the younger friend of Kris who people allege that Kris groomed. Of course, they denied the grooming allegation in their first tweet and then put two videos, one from a Cheeto and one from Sensitive Society, both where they talked about the Shadman allegations, not about LavaGS, and LavaGS falsely painted them and told people to go comment on the videos and tell them to stop spreading lies. This tweet has almost 16 million views calling to do this, and it's just complete bullshit. Well, finally, after almost 36 hours, LavaGS put out an apology saying, "I am not a victim and I am not backpedaling any statements I've already made. Everything I've stated is still very true. Nothing bad happened between me and Kris. People are creating lies around my name. Yesterday, while under a lot of stress from trying to get my story out as quickly as possible, I made a mistake and included two videos in a tweet that had nothing to do with my situation. Here are the correct videos and these ones should be taken down. I apologize to the creators of the original videos in my first screenshots at Cheeto and at Not Sensitive Society." And so, of course, look, I said in my first video that I don't personally find these original allegations to be grooming. I think they're gross. I think they're inappropriate. I don't think you should be talking to a 14-year-old the way that Kris Tyson was. There's just no reason to make those jokes or say those things, but I don't see it as Kris Tyson trying to meet up with this person for sex or that there's some kind of end goal here for Kris and what they're doing. I just see it as inappropriate, cringe, homoerotic jokes that you should just not be making to people of that age, because like, why are you doing that? There was people framing it as if Kris was flying this minor out to have sex with them when they were 16 or something, which was just like blowing my mind. But regardless, even though I do have that opinion, these videos should not be taken down. That's just insane. I don't think that these videos put out misinformation. I don't think that they said something false that didn't happen. They may have exaggerated the claims or, just put a different phrasing on it. But at the end of the day, they just showed the way that Kris interacted with these people. And I still do think it's completely appropriate to criticize Kris and say that the way that Kris interacted is inappropriate. And you should not be talking to minors that way when you're 22, 23 years old. So the idea that these should be taken down is fucking ludicrous. I don't think that's true. I do personally agree that the main focus should be Shadman, but regardless, that's already a huge L from LavaGS. And so a Cheeto and Sensitive Society both responded to this, first with a Cheeto saying, "It's fine, only 14 million people have seen the blatant lies you shared about me after I DM'd you to take it down. And while you may not call yourself a victim, I do believe Tyson was behaving inappropriately around you when you were 13. And that's true. I agree with that too. Tyson should not have been acting that way. Just, the way that it's being presented sometimes is just an exaggeration. But yeah, this is a totally fair tweet by Cheeto, and it sucks that this tweet is up still with 16 million views. Because if you look at the apology reply, this barely even cracks 500,000. So like 30 times the amount of people have seen this tweet over the apology tweet, which is just ludicrous. I mean, come on now. And Sensitive Society also weighs in saying, "It only took 30 hours to get a reply from this person after putting me on blast in front of 15 million people. And his tweet framing me is still up. I legitimately wish the worst for you." Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair. This is just inappropriate. I said this in my last video. It's shameful. LavaGS is just terrible for doing this. Like, if you're going to sit there and blast and call people to flag a video, the least you could do is fucking watch it, right? I mean, that's like quite literally the bare minimum you could do. So, I mean, just terrible, terrible move by LavaGS there. But that's where we're at. So at least there was an apology, but the tweet with 60 million views should not even be public. It's not that hard to just make a follow-up tweet or make a second tweet. But now we have Jake the Viking alleging that because Kris Tyson left his wife and divorced her, that led to him getting an increase in ownership in the MrBeast company. Let's watch this clip posted by Drama Alert.
And big news bomb. Apparently, I was being told from a very reliable source, his percentage of ownership was about to drastically increase after his divorce with Katie went through.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he was about to hustle the mother of his child, or she was about to hustle.
That's what I said earlier.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's a very credible source that I got that from. So yeah.
Sunny V2's getting all the praise now.
So, of course, in case you haven't been paying attention at all, Jake the Viking is someone who used to be in MrBeast videos. When he says he has a very credible source, it could very well be someone who's still on the MrBeast team, who knows this information, who was around then when that was all going down, because he did divorce his wife, like, what was it, maybe a year or two ago? I might be wrong in the timelines, but it was a little bit ago. And apparently after that happened, I guess that meant that he was going to get more of a share. Maybe his wife had some share in it too. I have no idea exactly the specifics of how that would work, but this is just an allegation, of course. But it is coming from someone who was directly tied to the MrBeast team. So definitely insane to see. If it's true, then that's nuts. But at the end of that clip there is one little comment about Sunny V2, and I think that there is an appropriate statement to be made. Sunny V2 getting all the praise. Well, I saw Nick Duro put out a tweet, and I think I'm just going to read it because I pretty much agree with it one-to-one. Nick Duro tweeted, Sunny V2's video on Kris Tyson aged so well. Ah yes, I too think that the video that included zero relevant arguments in relation to the actual downfall of Kris Tyson was suddenly well made. In fact, I think every single thing Kris Tyson has been exposed for occurred pre-transition. So as it turned out, being publicly out as trans didn't meaningfully impact MrBeast's brand after all. And it's true, I don't think that in the video that Sunny V2 brought up anything relating to what Kris is canceled for now. If it did, then it would have been a lot more of a hard impacting video. It didn't bring up any of the stuff regarding LavaGS. I don't think it brought up any of the stuff regarding Shadman. It basically just said that because Kris is trans, therefore MrBeast has an L, which was kind of ludicrous and ridiculous. It's like, what are we talking about here? And as Nick Duro says, everything that happened was before Kris Tyson was even transgender publicly. So what are we doing? I did respond, and I think this is also true, and I said, only way this works is if you argue Kris coming out as trans put more hateful eyes on her, therefore leading to this cancellation and exposure of Kris's past before transitioning. Which I also think is, it could be true. I mean, you can make that argument that Kris becoming transgender put a whole bunch of eyes on that situation, and therefore extremely motivated people to want to dig into Kris Tyson's past and find all this shit and expose all this shit. But that's not what Sunny V2 is saying in his video. That's not at all what happened, but you could actually genuinely make that argument. I don't think that that's entirely a unfounded argument to be made. And so now we have the probably juiciest part of the story, which is Mutahar releasing DMs from Kris Tyson. So Mutahar says that he didn't actually even know these DMs really existed. He went back and checked. And these DMs are from the time that he released that amazing, incredible video on Keffals, completely exposing Keffals for being a fraud, a degenerate, a complete loser, which is exactly what Keffals is. I mean, Keffals sucks, completely needs to be excommunicated from the internet, probably in prison for fraud, but that's another story. Regardless, Mutahar exposed all of this, and he used Kiwi Farms as one of the sources. And Kris Tyson did not take this well. Kris Tyson was very, very mad that someone dared use Kiwi Farms for a source on something. Well, let's just read Kris Tyson's DM. Mutahar shows Ava Kris Tyson saying, so glad you said there's legit info on Kiwi. Legit being people telling people to go to my house and kill me. What the fuck is this? Instantly, we're off to a horrible, just terrible start. What are we even saying here? That Mutahar saw that post and was like, here's the legit info. Screenshot this. I put this in my Keffals video. Are we delusional? What fairy tale land are we living in? This is what Mutahar is talking about? Already we're living in fucking delusional fairyland, but let's just continue. That website is the reason my child has had guns pointed at him by cops. They renamed my family's businesses on Google, harassed and doxed my family members to the point where they don't talk to me anymore, and are the reason I had to move. So thank you for sending more eyes to the bottom of the barrel of the internet, where transphobia is encouraged by the creator who enjoys and has encouraged doxes of me because they think I'm a Jewish person being paid by Disney to transition. So again, Mutahar says this himself in his video, but let's not live in a delusional fairyland where as if Kiwi Farmers just doesn't exist, and also as if there aren't a ton of archives of things on that site. The entire situation that came out just this week regarding all of the old stuff with Shadman, all the old stuff with LavaGS, that all came from Kiwi Farms. There's even an entire section about Ava Kris Tyson's Reddit that I didn't even review yet in my videos. There's a whole section about that all came from Kiwi Farms too, where Kris Tyson's talking about lolly gang R, right? Like there's just a whole bunch of just disgusting shit that Kiwi Farms exposes. And reality is that people do use this website sometimes for research. That doesn't mean that you endorse the fucking doxing that happened on that website. That also doesn't mean that if you say that there's legit stuff on Kiwi Farms, that somehow you're talking about the dox that happened to Kris Tyson. That's what I'm pointing to as legit. Really? I mean, what are we talking about? And then Kris Tyson's also trying to blame Mutahar in the replies here, showing some sort of hidden media. Mutahar doesn't show it, saying, speaking of which, glad to see now my doxes are picking back up today. Wonder where they got that info. So apparently you're just not allowed to talk about Keffals or allowed to talk about the horrible, just disgusting, degenerate, fraudulent shit that Keffals has done. Otherwise, random people on the internet are going to dox you as some unrelated, completely not relevant party in the situation, Kris Tyson. Who cares? And then Kris Tyson has the audacity to go to Mutahar and blame Mutahar for the fucking doxing. I mean, what is this bullshit? I'm so glad this person has nothing to do with the Mr. Beast crew, and I'm so glad they're leaving the internet, hopefully permanently, because this is just fucking disgusting and abhorrent. Kris Tyson should be ashamed of themselves for this shit. I mean, this is bullshit. Jeez, it just fires me up because it's so ludicrous and ridiculous. It's such an extreme exaggeration of anything. Mutahar's not fucking responsible for that. I mean, what are we doing here? That whole situation infuriated me, seeing people defend Keffals for this bullshit accusation. Just so infuriating. But regardless, W. Mutahar for leaking that. Absolutely deserved having that DM leaked. Fuck Kris Tyson. And just for that, actually, I am going to read the Reddit messages. I didn't really plan on covering these in my video because I thought there was enough, but just for that DM, let's also read the Reddit messages and the terrible, disgusting things that Kris Tyson has posted on Reddit in the past. So first, we have proof that Kris Tyson is this Reddit account. It's Ava Kris Tyson tweeting out, "The old me was a F-Slur2," showing a Reddit account, TysonBoy34, and then a picture of Kris Tyson, I guess, attempting to pose as a woman in May 28th, 2015. So of course, this led people to go look at TysonBoy34's Reddit history, and they found some very interesting things, like this post on the 4chan subreddit, where TysonBoy says, "Why the fuck would you use your VR headset for anything other than 3D lolly gang?" Wow, incredible. What a great Reddit post. Then some sort of meme on the R10D subreddit where it's captioned, "The perfect good boy chair," and it's just someone like sitting on a chair, and Tyson decides to respond with more degeneracy saying, "No second monitor to have hentai constantly playing. Not enough for this good boy." Okay. Incredible. Totally disgusting. And another one, this is probably the worst one, where it's a post on 2MeIRL for MeIRL, and it's two, looks like teenagers hugging and kissing each other. Could be adults, I don't know. And then Tyson responds, "But you can still get teen love? 14-year-olds always stay 14. Okay. You're disgusting. You're just a disgusting degenerate. Fuck you. And it even gets more disgusting because there's a post where someone says, "You should check our real girls." Of course, this here being the interest in poop, basically. You like poop on girls. And then Tyson says, "I thank thee for my new interest." Okay, incredible. And here's just another amazing post. Someone posted on Our Movies the Pixar's Incredibles 2 trailer, and Tyson Boy, 7 years ago, decided to respond, "Shadman is going to love this." Oh wow, really, Shadman? Incredible. The Reddit also ties back to everything. Of course. And more where Kris just continues to talk like a degenerate, like someone posting Anon tries no fap, and Tyson replies, "The only reason I go a week without nutting is to see how far it can shoot." Thanks for letting the whole world know that, man. That's awesome. And more where he's also continuing to interact with Shadman, talk about Shadman, love Shadman, where someone says, "The joke is that Shadman makes pee out of anything." Tyson responds saying, "It ain't pee unless it's got a..." That really? And then someone replies with the subreddit here on screen, and Tyson says, "Ah yes, this will make a fine addition to my collection." Tips Lay Fedora, like what the fuck is this? Come on, this is just so cringe. So that's just some of the Reddit. I mean, it's just abhorrent. Like what the fuck? This guy just was the biggest degenerate, loser, freak, weirdo of all time. But yeah, all around, it's just absolutely disgusting. And I think that's about it that we have right now for the Kris Tyson story. Let me know if there's something I missed in the comments. But that's all I really got to say about this. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.